But welcome back to Game Points Radio on TSN 690. Steph Michelli gave him the offside.
False start,
Mocon. We are now looking forward to be joined by the man himself, the king of hardcore radio, Gabriel Morency. And Steph Michelli, I can't wait to hear what Gabriel has to say about our topics for this week. Gab, how you been, my friend?
I'm doing okay, Bo. How you doing tonight?
It's a bit wet in Montreal. Not sure what the weather's like in Toronto, but it's been raining all day long in the city of Montreal.
Yeah, the weather in Montreal always sucks. It's either too hot and humid or too cold. There's no good in between in that city for one reason or another.
It definitely was humid on Tuesday for sure. Your thoughts on Michael Sam? Looks like he will be a part of the Dallas Cowboys. Why did it take so long for him to find an NFL team?
What do you mean, why did it take so long? It took, about 8 hours? He only got released. He got released on Saturday. Really, he's lucky that he got picked up as quickly as he did, in reality. I've been a Michael Sam backer. He was a hell of a football player with the Missouri Tigers. He was a real team leader. He came up with big plays. And we saw in the preseason, he can get to the quarterback. He has a knack for making big plays, but overall, and, maybe I overestimate him a little bit, and people said, well, he's a little bit slow, and I take Jeff Fisher. I mean, Jeff Fisher is one of the smartest football guys out there. I got a lot of respect for him. He stated, he's just a little slow coming out of the stance. He's got some work to do, and out of all football teams, the St. Louis Rams, that's a tough defense to make, man. That's a very good defense. Like, people don't realize just how good that Ram defense is. Yeah, I would go far as to say maybe it's top 5 in the National Football League. And as you know, Mo, especially up front on a defensive line, he's kind of a tweener. That's his problem. He doesn't play special teams because he doesn't have the speed, so he can't get downfield. But you look at the Dallas Cowboys, they like the attention. They like the spotlight. A lot of coaches, they don't want ESPN. They don't want the circus around them. I don't think it's so much homophobia. I think homophobia is a big part in the National Football League. But at the same point in time, if Michael Sam was great, more teams would want to deal with the distraction. But Jerry Jones, the big D doesn't stand for Dallas anymore. It stands for distraction. He likes distraction. And, I think you look at the Cowboys' defense as well, and they're terrible. They're going to be terrible. They need bodies. And, Michael Sam could fit that role for them. So it's a perfect fit with Dallas, actually. But when you say what took so long, I mean, it's Tuesday right now. He got released on Saturday. So, it's pretty quick.
I know, but according to some out there, it took quite a while for him to find a team. But again, he's now at the Dallas Cowboys. Let's see what impact he makes. Jim Irsay, your thoughts on the suspension by the NFL. Was it too little, and was it the right amount for the fine?
No, I'm so sick of these suspensions. Like, they should just start playing. No one's going to be happier than Goodell when they start playing football. But, it's just this, well, he's the owner. We suspend the player, so we got to suspend the owner. What are you going to suspend the owner from? So what? He can't sit in the press box? Is that essentially what the suspension is? I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm so sick of, it's 2014 right now, and we live in such a judgmental society, and let's judge this guy, and we have to punish this for that, and, even we don't know why we're punishing it. The guy's an owner. I mean, he's a free citizen. He should be able to do whatever the hell he wants, but no, it's ridiculous. I mean, Ray Rice gets suspended, and as I stated earlier, if Wes Welker would have hit a girl named Molly instead of popping some Molly, he would have gotten less time. So they're whacked. Like, they don't know what they're doing. Goodell is out of control, and for a man that's been in such control his entire career as commissioner, I mean, he's been such a dictator, and he's been John Wayne. And when he came in, it's going to be my way or the highway. And if you don't like it, you don't like it, but I'm going to clean up the NFL. Except here we are years later. I don't know how long he's been commissioner now, probably 10 years or so, if not a little bit more. And you look at it now, it's almost like it's the Wild West right now. Like, he's lost complete control. He suspends Ray Rice for 2 games. There's a huge outcry. He didn't see that coming. How the hell did you not see that coming? The NFL makes $6 billion a year. They can't hire one smart attorney in the room that'll have the balls to tell Goodell, this is a horrible idea, sir. Like, no one was going to get mad if Rice got suspended for 6 games or 8 games. Roethlisberger got 6 games for the little bathroom stall incident. So he comes out with the 2 games. He gets ripped for that. And then he sort of doubled down on it and before apologizing recently. And then he foolishly suspends Josh Gordon 16 games for marijuana. The smaller amount of marijuana in his system than Regliati had when he kept the gold medal in the Olympics. So, here's Mr. Nancy Reagan over here, Goodell. Oh, marijuana's the purge, so let's hit Gordon. Then he gets ripped again. He gets mocked again on CNN, on every mainstream news outlet. It gets picked up with, they compare it to the Ray Rice thing. So he doesn't like that. So what does he do? The next day, after the Josh Gordon thing, it was totally by design. He comes out with this new, you're going to get, if it happens twice and you're going to be banned for life. And it's such a gray area. We already see the McDonald guy on San Francisco. So what does this mean? Do you have to be charged? So what if the charges are dropped? It's such a gray area. It just seems like it's Bush League. It's bizarre how he's handling these suspensions. And, now you get Wes Welker. He gets suspended for 4 games. For what? For getting wasted at the Kentucky Derby? So now a grown man can't do what he wants in the off season. They're out of control, and there's no consistency to it whatsoever, which is surprising for a league that is militaristic as the National Football League is. I mean, they're more concerned. They're a twisted league. My colleague at the Fantasy Sports Network, Laura Dykin, brought this up. I didn't think of this, but it's a great point. I mean, Jimmy Graham gets suspended $30,000 for spiking a football, slam dunking the football through the goalpost. Johnny Manziel got fined $12,000 for giving the finger to the opponents on the field on national television. So somehow it's nearly triple more offensive to slam dunk the football than it is to give somebody the finger. Like, say what you will about the NFL. They're the biggest. They're a powerhouse, but I tell you, they're acting pretty foolish recently.
We're in conversation with Gabriel Morency, the host of Game Time Decisions, weekdays at 3 p.m. on the Fantasy Sports Network. Baseball talk, Oakland A's. They acquire Adam Dunn over the weekend here, but yet they're faltering as they're down 6-3 against the Mariners in the bottom of the 8th or 9th right now. Your thoughts, are the Oakland A's about to collapse like they have done in years past?
I don't know if they're about to collapse. The problem is the Angels just win every freaking day. You look at the A's. I mean, what are the A's? They're 27 games over 500. I don't have the standing in front of me right now, but the A's have been tearing it apart. But Adam Dunn, they might as well sign Greg Luzinski or Dave Kingman or something, bring him out of retirement. What the hell is Adam Dunn going to do for them? This goes back to their move. They kind of messed up. Everybody got all excited about the Samardzija and the Hamill deals, which these guys were on the Cubs. So. All right, you're bringing some Cubs over. It's not like these guys have lit it up under pressure before. So then they were like, man, Hamels isn't that good. We're going to need to get another arm in here. And it's the old adage, Mo, don't fix what isn't broken. The A's were rolling along. They brought Samardzija in. They brought Hamill in. They were already stacked at the pitching. Their rotation was already stacked. They didn't need John Lester. They wanted John Lester. But it was a big mistake, and I stated it at the time when they made the deal, and I like John Lester a lot, but it was a big mistake to get rid of Cepedis. They just didn't, they were thinking long-term because Billy Beane doesn't want to pay Cepedis big money in the future, so they figured, all right, we'll get Lester now, we'll try to win. But at the time, you were taking 17 home runs and 67 RBIs out of the lineup, puts all kinds of pressure on Donaldson. And they figured, we have the highest scoring offense. But that's kind of deceptive. 3-run home runs can disappear in a hurry. And you take a big bat like Cepedis out of the lineup, and suddenly no one else has that protection. And, it was short-sighted. I just didn't like that move. I didn't like it at the time, and I was on the record of stating it, that I would have loved if they would have gotten Lester and they would have traded some prospects, and then they really would have been all in. But giving up Cepedis, they gave up a guy that plays every day for a guy that plays every 5 days. I didn't like the move, and I think it's coming back to bite them in the ass.
We're in conversation with Gabriel Morency of Game Time Decisions, weekdays at 3 p.m. on the Fantasy Sports Network. Gabriel, your Super Bowl pick and why?
Well, I've been kicking this around, and I've been kind of kicking it down the road, actually. I've always been saying it's too early. It's too early for me to make the pick, but considering the season kicks off in 48 hours, I guess I'll have to step up here. And I always hate taking the same teams over. And for the record, last year, I actually had Seattle and Denver in the Super Bowl before the year started. But I should say that I said Denver would win the Super Bowl before the year started. So I'm going to take the Denver Broncos again. I look at the AFC. I don't think the AFC is that great. There's a lot of good teams. There's not very many great teams. With Aqib Talib and DeMarcus Ware there, Peyton Manning's just a regular season machine. Will he get it done in the playoffs? I don't know. Will he win? I don't know. But they're going to win. Like, they're going to get home field advantage. They're going to win again. The Patriots don't scare me. Chargers are a nice little dark horse in the AFC. Chiefs overachieved last year. Ultimately, I really think, it's Denver, and I kind of like the Colts this year. I think the Colts are going to make some noise, but I think Denver's the team to beat. So if push comes to shove, I'll take Denver. The NFC is real tough. You got Seattle, San Francisco. There's so many good football teams in the NFC. But I think Eddie Lacy is the difference maker for the Green Bay Packers. As good as Aaron Rodgers is, I think that they got to keep Aaron Rodgers healthy. How do you keep him healthy? You run the football more. And I think Eddie Lacy is a breakout star this year. I think, if you're talking about guys who are going to break through and become big-time players, Eddie Lacy's the guy. I think he's going to carry the Green Bay Packers to the Super Bowl. So I'll say it's going to be one of these dream matchups of Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl, Denver and Green Bay.
What do you have lined up for game time decisions on Wednesday, please?
We've got a busy day tomorrow. Mark Lawrence, one of the best college football handicappers in America, is going to join me like he does every Wednesday. We're going to talk some college football, big games, Michigan State and the Ducks, Michigan and Notre Dame, as well as some NFL football. Also have Mike Cardano on, one of the top roto experts. This guy's great when it comes to fantasy matchups for all you fantasy football players. We're also going to be on Off the Record tomorrow with Michael Landsberg at 5 o'clock. I think it's on TSN. I have like 18 channels now, but it's on one of them. I think it's on TSN 2, but I'm not positive. But whatever, we're on Off the Record tomorrow, and I'm all things TSN. Right after Off the Record, I'm going to be on TSN Winnipeg Radio tomorrow. And then tomorrow night we got MMA Meltdown on the Fight Network. And then we wrap it up tomorrow night with Sports Rage. So it's a busy 24 hours.
I'll tell you one thing, though. I saw the Fantasy Sports Network commercial on NBA TV Canada the other week. And you look.
Yeah, I was getting I got a lot of tweets about that, about Morency. I keep seeing you on NBA TV. And I was like, no, that's impossible. But evidently, and it wasn't, they had like a sample or something like that. One of my shows was actually on NBA TV. I don't know why, but it's the same thing. Somebody told me the other day that they were in Mexico. They said, I was in a sports book in Guadalajara, Mexico, Morency, and I was watching your TV show. I said, that's crazy talk. I said, we're not on in Mexico. And he's like, well, I said, you must have confused me with another white bald guy, because it wasn't me. And I said, there's a million bald guys on TV, man. It wasn't me. And he's like, no, you were wearing an Expos jersey and you were talking to Jonah Carey. And I was like, man, by God, that was me. So I don't even know where we're on anymore. But, we're on in Mexico, evidently, so that's cool.
Well, you're now on in the Canadian markets, U.S. markets, and now the Mexican markets. So, hey, you're expanding country by country, my friend.
We're actually on the Fight Network is actually on in various countries. Like, surprisingly enough, I'm actually popular in Turkey. And I'm not even kidding. My show, my MMA Meltdown show is very popular in Turkey. I'm not a star in Turkey. I think I can walk down the street without getting stopped. But from what I understand, my ratings are pretty good in Turkey. We're on in Holland. We're on in quite a few European countries, actually. We got a lot of viewers in Wales and England. And, the UFC is a popular international sport, and Fight Network's done a great job of branding the network worldwide.
Gab, enjoy week 1 of football and college football this week. We'll speak to you next week, pal.
All right, for all you bettors out there, my upset special of the week, Dallas Cowboys plus the points.
Fair enough, then. Gabriel Morency, you can follow him on Twitter at SportsRage. Game time decisions on the Fantasy Sports Network every weekday, Monday to Friday from 3 p.m. onwards. Great job by him. Coming up next, the final turn of Game Points, we'll have our NFL Super Bowl picks as well as the weather report in Seattle. What will the weather be this weekend in Seattle as we gear up for another NFL season here on TSN Radio 690, your home of Game Points?